So this is it. And it is a very simple, ordinary, normal what is happening. It's not even very strong it can be subtle, it can be anything, it can be a wall, it can be a sound or a sensation and everything. And what normally is when there's me, there's that being able to abstract. And then when there's being able to abstract, there's a feeling. And when there's a center, feeling I'm the center and everything is happening to me, there's trying to deal with it. What feeling, with what's going on in the circumstances, with thoughts maybe. Is everything seen as my thoughts, my feelings, my sensations, my pain and physical things? It's with that when there's me, there's assuming everything is solid. And when they're seeing a body, the body seems real. So there's living inside the body is mine and all that. And so I have to take care of it. I have to deal with what's going on. There can be a threat and wanting to be safe and all that is going on. And the strange thing is, what also is going on when there's something like a sensation, there's immediately that idea, there's what is going on. So on top of that, there are words about what is going on, what it is, why it is, because of this, it's about that, and the whole story starts because it's about you, and I have to tell something, and a lot of thoughts about that are coming. It's living in a dream. It's that what is happening is just never lost. It's just going and it's just there. And on top of that, there's something else going on, and that's the dream of me. There's an idea that looking at things and looking at myself, seeing what's happening, feeling what's happening. Um, how do you say that? Feeling that it's about you. So there has to be dealt. How do I deal with this? That's the most important question, maybe. And then there's dealing with it and thinking like, oh, it's like that. This is what I feel. Maybe there's some resistance against it. And what is the resistance about? Maybe it's about, yeah, I think it's about my past because there was something happening before, and maybe it's good to talk with someone together with that. And so that's already a story about resistance. There was that feeling, that sensation, with no reason, just that sensation can happen. And that's it. And it's there, and in the same time, it's not. So there's nothing happening. We are so convinced as people that we are there, everything is solid and real, circumstances are real. There's inside, there's outside, though this is the border of my body. There's inside this room, there's also an outside, like a world. And then hearing this message is completely not seeing any story. And in the same time, and that can be like confusing. It's saying there can be living in the story, but there's no importance in that story at all. It's empty. So that's strange. There's no inside, so there's no time and there's no distance. So there's inside and outside has to do with distance. There's no inside, there's no outside. There is what is happening. It's not saying that to yourself because that maybe we talked about that already, but it's not saying to yourself, yeah, this is what it is and all that. That's also dealing with what's going on. There's only what is happening for no one. So there's no dealing with not saying anything about it, or don't need to say anything about it. There's no need to change anything also. Because when that's the strange thing with me, when there's that sudden being able to abstract, there suddenly seems to be here and there, and here and over there, and then there's something going on, like it's a separation from there's not everything is one, but there's suddenly here and there, and this is me and there's someone else. So that whole story starts, and somewhere there's a feeling, and maybe not immediately at that young age, but there's something going on, there's something gone wrong. I'm not good enough. Something is not good enough. I have to change. There should be something different. I have to do something else. I have to deal with circumstances. I have to behave in a certain way. Then there will be love. So maybe then that feeling that this is not enough. There's something missing, will be gone. And then when I'm loved, then I feel happy again. So that's an endless search for moving away from that maybe pain or not feeling or feeling like that and not enough, and then moving, trying to feel like there's always happiness or silence or freedom. It's an endless search because there's a search that you are doing, and when there's someone, it will never be found. When there's no one, then suddenly it's like, oh, it was never lost. There is already freedom. Everything is free in itself already. So there's nowhere to go. It's already that what is happening. But it's very simple and tiny and ordinary. And we are so focused on being something, having something, going to somewhere, and maybe that makes me better or all that. It's already sitting, that wall. It's already that. And when there's being in the story and I'm here and hearing this message and looking at the wall and saying, oh, it's the wall, I don't see that. No, there's not someone seeing the wall. That whole someone can be lost. It's the strange thing is it was already not there, but in the dream there seems to be a very strong belief, very convincing, embodied belief that I am someone. It's a dream. It's a misunderstanding, you could also say that. But it's very much embodied and seems to be very real and convincing. So that's where we can talk about, and we can talk about anything. There can be talking about things in the story or something else. It doesn't matter because the talking about is already it. This is going nowhere. So it doesn't matter what is being talked about. Also, this talking, it doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't mean anything because it's already that what is happening. Thoughts can happen. Warm table. There's no you. There never was you. There never was me. We can talk about that, or maybe just saying nothing. We'll see. That's something. Now, this morning I thought I participate in a masterclass of how to organize house. I got very tired of it, and I went out of the masterclass. Okay. Somebody's asking, it's going to get better now. Yeah, there's still pain going on. A lot of pain, but yeah, it's not all the time. Sometimes it is. It was falling down and it's my bottom. So sitting on my bottom is already like, ooh, but not the whole time. It's amazing how that's going, because when there's something going on that it isn't physical, it's not working very well, then there's something like every day, like, oh, no, it's going better. And then suddenly, like this day, it's not going better. It's even worse. So it's like, oh my God. So that's how it goes. Can be, not always. So, so it's funny how really with also with physical things, there can be somewhere something going on, like, I don't know. Is that how? No, no, it's a story. The strange thing is, also, when there's pain, it's there and it's not in the same time. That's crazy. It's there and it's not. It's not always there, of course, but it's also, when it's there, it's also, there's nothing going on. Crazy. There is no life of Rose. There is no life of anyone. And that's crazy, because that's the normal way we think. We live our life, and how we go on in the day, and what we are doing, and how we will organize things and set up something or move to something else. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing happening. That's so crazy, because that what is normally seen is like, I'm living my life, and what am I doing? Do I have success, or do I have failure, or what's going on with my relation? Do I have with friends and all that? There's so much going on. How to deal with this? There is what is happening. It's very tiny, and there's no story. There's no time. There's exactly that, and that what is happening is complete as it is. So there's not nothing is not complete. Everything is complete as it is. And we are so obsessed, and having a lot of ideas about how it should be, kind of perfection, how it should be, or maybe can be. It's what it is. That's already that perfection. So there's nowhere to go. that hand in that way, and that's it. That's the freedom. That it's already. And then somebody say, you say that the me is living in a dream. How can we know that with no me it's not a dream too? Yeah, you never will. It's very frightening to hear that maybe you live in a dream and then there's another possibility, and then it's not sure, so there's something going on you can't even grasp, you can't even, not all the time, you can't even understand or imagine or do. So it's frightening because maybe she, like me, is talking like all other religions, and she taking me in a place I never want to be. You never know. Yeah. Can be the fear. I had that fear. I can relate to that. Well, I was with Tony's and we were talking about maybe we're sitting here in a cult and oh my God, what is this? Yeah, you never know. There's so much fear and trying to understand and trying to get hold on things. And we're living in the story. So everything seems to be real and solid, and this is safe, and this is good, and this is right, and all that. So then hearing this is there's something going on. Maybe there's also that story going on, and right and wrong, and all that. And then hearing there's no right and wrong, there's no time, it's like, what are you talking about? It's so something you can't even imagine. And that seems so crazy and so not grasping. And some, and somewhere there's something about it. There's some longing for something like nothing is wrong and something like that. Or when there's talking about that freedom, there's some longing. It can be energetic also. It's not even the understanding, but there can be something going on. So, and at the same time, there can be a fear because there's so much investment in that being someone. I am someone, I did a lot of things, and I want to feel comfortable or maybe more happy and things going right and all that. And this is about not knowing. The strange thing is, we are so convinced there is already control. There is control. We have a free will. We have a choice to make things happen. Already hearing there's no one, there's also no free will, there's no choice, so there's no control at all. Already that is like, oh my God, what is that? Because it seems so safe to be in the world and being able to choose what you need, what you think you need, and all that. No, there is already no one, there's no choice, there's no control, there never was. And that can be living in that dream that you feel and have an idea, I am in control, and that was what I'm choosing. And now it's going that way. That's because I did that. And now it's going in the wrong way because, and then you know why, because you think it's about some other people or circumstances that it's going in that way. And so it's assuming and being very convinced and knowing that it's because of that. And then here they're saying, there's, there's no knowing, it's an assumption in that. So it's the dream of being sure and being able to choose and do. And there's the questioning of that. Maybe it isn't. There's somebody. Just want to be sure that you know that it's in your condition. It's good to sit on a swimming ring or something like that. Oh, thank you. Mm, yeah, thanks. Mm. Hmm. No, no, does giving advice happen to your children or friends if they ask or voluntarily? No, mostly no, not really. Can be sometimes. Some people say like this is hurting so much and I said, oh, did you go to the doctor? Something that like that can happen. Well, I don't know what's the best. I don't know. But it's not like a decision. It's not arising. It's more like that. Or maybe there can be. I can't remember so much, but it's everything. So it even doesn't matter if that sometimes that happens. Everything is what is happening. So there's no way to decide or to do something about what's going on. And when that whole idea there should be something different and this is better than that, when that's completely lost, there's not so much going on about better or worse or advice. It doesn't arise. That energy isn't there. It doesn't matter. That's strange. It's not saying that to someone because that's silly, but really, that's strange to hear that nothing matters. Nothing matters. It's complete as it is. Doesn't mean it's nice or comfortable or anything. It's life. So that's full on everything. And we are trying to make it in a certain way. No way. It's a lot of work trying to make something different. And in the same time, there's no one. So there's a lot of dream going on, like trying to make it different. And there in the end, there's not really some tools or being able to do it. But we are so convinced that when there are some changes because of us or because of something else. And then there's something wrong and it should be like that. And he should change or she or all that. There's no one. There is already no one. So it's a dream of all kind of ideas and beliefs and concepts, what is the best? No, this is the best. No, what I thought. A lot of fighting in the air in the end. Yeah. Or, of course, in real, in everything, there can be fighting, of course, not only in arguments, but of course, physically too. I'm right. No, I'm right. Yeah. But it's strange also to hear that nothing is real. So we are so in that whole story that everything is happening, and how do we deal with this and how do we deal with that, or other countries, or maybe that. Nothing is real. And that's amazing. It seems like an escape. No, it isn't, because nothing is real doesn't mean it isn't there. When there's sensations or pain, it isn't felt. Of course it is. There can be pain, and in the same time it isn't there. So it's like how this is possible, but it's already like that. But what we normally do is like being only in the everything, and everything is real and solid, so the pain is real and solid, and that whole nothingness and emptiness, like there's nothing happening, is completely moving to the background, and we are so into everything is solid and real, and how we deal with that. How can we change, because this is right and this is wrong and it doesn't feel good. It's not about you. Life is not about you. That is crazy, because when there's me, you're the center. Everything is about me. I'm the center of all that's happening. I'm focused on what's happening in my life. I want to talk about it. I want to deal with everything and want advice. I want to no, it's not yours. Life doesn't see you. It's everything. So there can be that body or hand, but that's it. No story, no time. Mm. Mm. Another question. Does the apparent me jump out of the window by itself or not? It was never there. So that whole story, which seems very important, and how do I do this, and all those ideas and concepts and beliefs, that can be, you could say, can dissipate or can fall apart. Maybe not in one time, but it can be not that important anymore. So it's that whole idea that there seems the free will and choice, and how do I do this and all that, it can be not that strong anymore. Or that's how it a lot of times goes. Sometimes it's just woof, and then suddenly it's like, oh, but there never was. Oh my God, there never was someone. No, of course not. It's like, it's more like, how do you know there's someone? It's more the other way around. There's there's no choice, of course not. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because it's everything. So it doesn't matter if it's like a feeling of woe or pain or something else. There's nothing going on then when when that whole construct is not there. There's nothing going on trying to change it. It's that not arising. That's no big deal. It's the belief, the dream. That's, you could say, the dream doesn't go on. And suddenly there, oh, it's naked. What I remember, it was like, oh, it's naked. It's so direct. It's so what it is. I wasn't used to that. And then after a while, you get used to it. Yeah. There's no choice in that, of course. There never was, but in that moment also, of course. But it's very normal. It's so normal. It's it's already there. And there are a lot of moments that it's already like that. That's the crazy thing. You think, I was thinking, no, I don't know if you that, well, I was thinking like there will be some change, some difference, something what I was looking for, but I didn't know exactly what, but it wasn't. It was that ordinary. It was like, oh God. And in the same time, it's like freedom, but after a while, it's not like, oh, I'm feeling so free. No, that's not going on. And there's awareness about what's going on. That was lost. So there's nothing going on. How do I feel and all that? No. So it's very normal. It's so normal. Not special at all. Mhm. That's strange because it seems sometimes like that. You can't even imagine. We're so into that there's something wrong with what's going on. That's so embodied. That's so strong. Hearing there's nothing wrong with anything. It's already everything. So there can be also those thoughts. Yeah, but I don't feel like that. No, those thoughts are it too. It's just a thought. There's nothing wrong or right with a thought. Doesn't have any meaning. Those thoughts can happen. Yeah, so it's so somewhere so embodied, convincing that there should be a change, or maybe there will be a change. No, there's no need for a change at all. That can be like a feeling of, yeah, I want that? Because I want to get rid of all these problems and being like that and not feeling comfortable and all that. And then she's saying like there will be no change. Yeah, hello. In a way, you could say in a way there's a change, but it was already, but it was more at the background, and then suddenly it's more like, oh, okay, yeah, of course, of course. So crazy.
Hi, Rose.
Hi.
Lila. So I talked to you last week. Really, really, it's being consumed with stories about wrong things happening in the world, and
Mm,
and fear about the end of everything, and like just I talked to Andreas like the next day, I think, or maybe it was even later, or actually I think it was just a couple days ago, but like just the same thing. And um like I think I don't even remember what he said, but like yeah, it could, it may not change, it could be like this, which was kind of just devastating to kind of hear. Yeah, yeah, it could be
yeah,
that
yeah,
things could get things could
yeah,
get worse in the world. No one knows. Like the world may seem worse. And he said you can't
yeah,
you can't be separate from the world because it's the same
mm,
thing.
yeah,
But then he said And it was just like, oh God, it was so like, oh, okay, this is horrible. This is going to be like this way forever. And
But
then,
what is the world? What is the world?
yeah,
I
it's
don't
just,
know what is the world.
I know
There's a lot
it's,
of information about what's going on. And after do you read it and after you heard it and all that on television or somewhere else, you go to drink coffee and then that's the world.
yeah, I think like I hear that like there's no world, but then somehow I feels like when it feels like there's me, that doesn't sink in. But he said
No.
like, the one thing I kind of remember that he said was, I asked that. I said like my son also says there's no world. Like, what are you talking about? There's no world. And then
Mm,
but then like I said like I brought that up and he said like he usually would say just there's no one. And somehow like later on in the day, and I hear that all the time from you and others also, there's no one.
mm,
But somehow it seemed to be more, I don't know if it was a rationalization that if there's no one, then of course none of these things matter. But somehow for the like half a day was completely not being bothered by anything. And
mhm,
then it's like, I want that. I want to stay like really afraid then like, okay, it's gonna come back. And and it does seem like it comes back even stronger and like hearing those words they don't seem to even touch anything. Like they don't even seem to, it's just like, oh God, like right back to like feeling
mm.
like all this stuff is happening and it's happening to me. And like, there's just, um, but just hearing you say just a few minutes ago, I don't know, like there's nothing right and wrong. Like it seems like those things can kind of for a second seem relaxing, but it's probably real. It seems like it's relaxing for me because it's like all the things that I think are wrong in the world. Oh, okay, if there's nothing wrong, then
No, but when there's that idea of what that belief, I'm here and I'm looking at the world. When there's that energy, it's energetic. So seeing the world in a certain way, or what's going to what's happening in this, that is part of that whole is yeah, I can't say it's the reality of that individual going on in that way. So every individual is different in that way. So they're seeing when that's confirming certain anxieties or certain fears or safety, or and then there's when there's it's affected by some news or all that. So that's part of that same story.
yeah.
And then when there's no one, then there can be still that sensations going on, but there's no story with that. So that sensation and that fear can still go on. And then reading that and then, oh, and but after a while, then it's gone. There's nothing sticky in that. So
So there's,
it's energetic also.
yeah, so there also like I guess sometimes maybe I get like an idea that like some speakers feel like nothing can happen to not to you, but there's no one, but like I don't know, maybe it comes from a spirituality, like hearing that like,
Mm,
consciousness doesn't die. Like and I like that whole thing. So like you can't
mm,
die. And I know like I
yeah.
don't think that's what's being said. Oh, there's no threat. Like if the world, goes on, like is completely
No,
destroyed.
but for me, it's more like that is that reality. In a way, it's that reality. It can be that it's energetic. So there's energetically going on something, and there can be, you could say it's a story, but every individual is in a different way. So then, in that way, it's completely different. How what's going on, how it's dealing, and all that. It's unique. It's unique. It's
And
in
it's not, but it's not saying, I think when I talk to you,
no.
you say, no, anything can happen. It
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
mean that everything
Oh
will be
yeah.
nice. Like there might be no heat, there might be, who knows what could
Yeah.
happen.
Of course, there
Maybe
can
the
be
world
suddenly
fire.
can dying, or can be diseases or anything. Yeah. It doesn't.
It
No, it's everything.
doesn't mean, oh, things will be fine. It's not like things
No,
will,
it's not fine. No, no. There can be a disease, and they're saying, like, oh my God, what's going on here? And there can be a fear or anything.
yeah.
And that can happen, but there's no grasping, there's no story with that. So it's not always there, or it's not being busy with that the whole story, but there can be pain or crying, and even when there's crying, the strange thing is what I noticed also, there can be crying and it seems like about someone is having some disease or something. Then there seems to be crying about that. But in a strange way, I noticed that always after I thought like, oh no, the crying is just crying. It has in the end, it has nothing to do with the circumstances. That's crazy because we're so used to that when there's something going on and there's a feeling it's because of what's happening. It's not. So it's everything is singular, but it
What
can
it
be everything. So pain and crying and
so that in the
anger.
middle of pain and crying, is there still like a sense like you just were saying nothing's real and nothing matters? Is there still that sense there during like like crying or that it's
But
gone?
really, the crying is even, maybe it's even more crying, but there's nothing going on trying to change it, knowing why and all that. It's completely crying full on. That's it. And after a while, it's gone and
But
then it's
still
gone.
like there's a sense that it's not real
Yes,
or
somewhere is
okay,
it. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
Because I go into it seems like me goes
yeah,
into full on it is real and you can't
yeah.
there's nothing to say
No,
that
it's
would be like
no.
it's not real.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's crazy because how can you explain that? Well, it's like that. It's not real, and it's completely no, it's not real. It's nothing is real, but that feeling can be really strong and
Yeah.
really crying or what kind of
Maybe
feeling.
like when
Yeah,
it doesn't feel real,
yeah.
there is less.
Maybe
There's
even more than because then there's nothing going on like restricting and doing dealing it with it or all that. It's just coming rough, full on
So
like it
just
is.
one other thing, like my wondering about like is there no fear or of like say emotions or like my 2.5-year-old grandson, my daughter told me yesterday that they were doing like little flashcards that teach because he's interested in learning like reading. And so they had the little card that had a crying baby on it and it
Yeah.
said sad on the other side. And he was so upset, he started crying and
Yeah.
shaking. Like he
Yeah, it
was
can
so
be.
afraid of like the baby being sad, I guess.
Mm.
That's
Can
just
be suddenly, and you don't
like,
know. Yeah, and then after a while it's gone. Yeah, that's full on. It can be full on. It's
yeah,
suddenly coming, and maybe next time it's not. It's that can be. Yeah,
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 yeah.
sure.
But it was maybe it was like a he because there's maybe a me there that he is afraid of emotions. Like my worst thought was
Yeah,
like,
we
oh,
have
he's
well,
going to
so
come
many
back.
ideas. There can be. What is wrong with suddenly so much crying, and then that we're trying to deal with it and trying to prevent it. We
Yeah, I'm
shouldn't be.
trying to prevent him from
It's
ever being
crying. It's crying.
like,
So what?
I don't want
Yeah.
him to be afraid because fear seems
Oh,
like the
but
word.
fear can happen. There's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
wrong.
he was.
That can happen here too. It's all
Yeah,
those emotions like fear and anger, and of course they
yeah,
happen. But
yeah. It's like
there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with that. It's just it's that emotion, and then it's gone. It's the strange thing is, and that what we assume it's happening in the body. It's his and all that. The strange thing is, it's not even his. It's somewhere happening in space because the body is also energy. So it's not like there are no borders. So it's that energy expressed and then it's gone. Yeah, like
okay,
anything else.
yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Mm. What do you mean by naked? Can it be crying like a little kid? Yeah, naked in the way that there's nothing trying to hide and deal with it or do something about it or not wanting it and all that. That was completely gone. So it was completely like when there's crying, there's complete crying. There's nothing holding on to it or anything. Mm, or something else. Yeah. Like little children, there's no identity. There's still not that whole construct like how to deal and how to behave and all that. So it's full on and then it's going. Mm.
then I think it's already happening.
Yeah, of course. There
Yeah.
is already that, but there's also that construct trying to that's energetic also in that beliefs and concept trying to contract it and dealing with it. That can be happening with that too. There's life too, of course, but there's a contracted energy when there's me.
Yeah, but when I was crying, it's just crying.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Mm. There was never anything to hold on. Yeah, well, in the story, that's you could say in the end, when there's no one, then there can be something saying like that. But when there's someone, there seems to be a lot of holding on to certain ideas and beliefs, and it's so energetic, so that can be you not even notice that there's some holding on things. Doesn't matter. Of course, it's only in the dream that we seems to do things and there's something going on and all that. And in the same time, there's nothing happening. There's an appearance of a hand or a sensation or sound. That's it. Mm. But it's that. It's that sensation. It's that feeling. It's the wall. It's it's so complete. It's so everything. There's nothing missing. There's no separation. There is that amazing hand or feeling, and it doesn't matter what it is. It seems like there are circumstances. It's that. And then there's something else. It's completely meaningless. It's wonderfully meaningless. That's the amazing world, and it seems like there's so much happening, and at the same time, it doesn't have any meaning or any purpose. But it seems so convincing that there's something going wrong because that's what we normally are. That's the way the thinking is going. That there's something right and wrong, and it should be like that, and all that. How then when we're thinking like that, we that the way the it's coloring it's coloring everything. So it's seeing it in that way. When that coloring and that whole construct about right and wrong and that isn't arising, then it's it there's no right and wrong. It doesn't mean it's like there can be tears about something else or anything. Well, that doesn't mean it's right or wrong. There can be any sensation. There can be talking about things, but there's no substance. It's empty. So they can be saying anything, of course. In that way, the story goes on, but the importance is lost. The seriousness.
Rose, would you say there is no here and there?
There is what?
No here and there?
No here and there. No,
No.
only in the story. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, because so here today it was really gorgeous weather, 17 degrees, really amazing.
Mm,
And then I was seeing pictures of an area where there was snow and ice.
mm.
So then you would say that's in the story.
I don't know what you mean. That suddenly there can be suddenly like it's seen like there's no distance. There can be no distance, and in the same times there's a knowing because the brain's still working. Oh, there it's over here and there's over there. What in the same time? No, there's no distance. And how can you explain that? It's suddenly like that.
Mm, no, I recognize that.
Mm, hmm.
Mhm, mhm. Thanks.
Mm. This meeting is also not serious, not meaningful, doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't matter if there's an understanding or not, even if there's listening or not. Doesn't matter. It's crazy because we're so like sometimes serious in how can we lose the me or maybe something like that. No, everything is already, it's complete as it is. So there's no need for anything.
Yeah, Rose, I received a message from a man which said he had an awakening.
Okay.
And then I don't know how many times he's doing it, but he's still meditating. And that's really weird for this.
Oh, but an awakening is not that everything is finished. It can be suddenly there's no me and everything suddenly whoa, and after that me comes back and there's still that search in a way. Maybe less, maybe stronger. Can be anything can happen then. Can be coming back. Yeah,
Uh, so
a
it's,
glimpse you could say in
yeah,
awakening.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
I
okay.
don't know. I don't know, but that can be like that. That can be. It's
Yeah.
not about everything is suddenly very clear. It's not about being clear. Not at all. But sometimes there's something like going and then there's no me and suddenly it's like, oh, well, what is this? And then after a while, depends, some minutes or days, then me comes back and say, what was this? And then something else is going on.
Mm, mm,
Can be, or I don't know.
uh-huh. Yeah, okay.
Mm.
Yeah, when you were saying that, then I was thinking that um the me didn't came back.
Mm.
But
That can be. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
So
nobody knows.
can be anything. Doesn't
Yes.
and it doesn't matter. If there's a me or no me, so what? I don't care. I'm not sitting with people like, is there a me still going on?
No,
No.
no,
So
no,
what?
no.
So
Me
what?
neither. No, 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 no. There is no
No.
me. There is no
There's
me.
already. So
Yeah,
what are we talking about?
yeah. With meditation, yeah, it's.
Well, it can be like can be nice to sit like that. So what? Doesn't go anywhere, but yeah, yeah. Mm.
Hi, Rose.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. You, let me just, okay. You said we have the ability to abstract out, is that right?
Yeah, what the brain can abstract. It's how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all that's happening, really. It's just there's a sense of a me being created
Yeah.
from that mechanism.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
all that's happening, right?
Yeah, and you can animals cannot understand that. What that's to little children don't understand also that abstracting in time and distance and all that. But people can. Yeah, and then the whole story starts because and why and all that. Yeah, distance over here, over there. Mm. Yeah,
Mm.
and also like when there's something going on, there's complete. It's immediately there's something looking at it and what is this? Oh, that feels like well, maybe it's a resistance to something, and already that's abstracting what's going on. And it's that feeling. Maybe you don't even know what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that simplifies it. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. It's very simple, but oh, when you're in it, it feels so like, oh my God. Yeah. It's so quick. Hmm. Another question. Are feelings like kindness, compassion, love, etc., showing up more now than earlier? Ooh. Kindness, compassion. Yeah, maybe. There's a love for everything, I could say. And that's straight. It's not that I'm liking everything, that's something completely different, but there's a love for it. So there's that whole thing like your that people say something and you feel like hurt or all that. That's not happening. So there's a love for everyone, for everything, you could say. It's unconditional, so it has nothing to do with the way people react or how circumstances are or all that. But there's that an unconditional love. It's that. It's not mine. It's this. The thing is, it's not mine. Life is that. So when that being apart, that separation isn't there, so then it's like, oh, it's that unconditional love is life. That what I was looking for is everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It has nothing to do with how it is or why or all that what we think. And we look for something. It's everything in that way. So that's more like that. Doesn't mean it's more kindness. No, it can be also irritation. Very sensed and very direct. It's very direct. So when there's irritation, woof, there's no holding on. Something like that can be happening. So not more kindness or compassion or all no. I wouldn't say I would say unconditional love and that but that doesn't mean there's no anger or irritation or anything. Whatever. It's everything. Look at little children. They're not kind all the time. No. I want this. Now that one thing you could say the strange thing is that one thing is gone. Like it can be like, what do you want? Coffee or tea or all that kind of little things. But really, for the rest, there's nothing busy with that. It's not like it's not knowing that it's nothing, but it's just not arising. Something like that. Could say. Mm. Also, the importance of everything is lost. There's a seriousness that this should be like that, or I want that, or this is very, you know, and why do you know? No, no, there's no importance. Doesn't mean you want to, then there's a train coming and there's like, oh my God, how late is it? And there's running. Of course, that can happen too. Well, it's just what's happening.
Rose,
Yeah. Hey.
hi. Um, sometimes like sometimes it can happen like that. It's not confusion, but like there is like really not knowing what's going on,
Mm,
and there's not really fear, but it's so strange. And then there's trying to make sense out of that, like
mm,
trying to find these stories. Um, it's not something specific. It's just a general feeling. Like sometimes, like there is some kind of really not knowing, and it's like
mm.
wow, without any reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very strange. And then he tried. I don't know what that is. I don't have to know, but it's like um, it's a
Yeah. It
strange
can.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing. Yeah.
It's suddenly that there's not knowing, you mean, something
Yes,
in the
yes, yes,
situation.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
As if I should know like how life um have to be or to look like or
Mm, mm. And
yeah,
suddenly it's like, oh, there's, I don't
yeah,
know, or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Can
And
be
then
can be some loss of some concept that seems to be
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah,
there, and
yeah.
then suddenly you don't even notice, but then suddenly it's like, oh, whoa,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
how easily like then they're trying to to understand or to make it like a story or
yeah,
like just to hold on to
yeah.
something or yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, but it can be jumping, and then in a certain situation, it's suddenly like, oh no, there's no, and then another situation, it comes back. It's so random, and can be so quick and so
Yeah,
energetic in those concepts, and just fall away without you don't even notice. And yeah,
it's so weird and then it's
yeah,
gone and then you forget the whole thing. Really forget the whole thing. Can't even remember. Yeah, can't even remember.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, it's just
mm.
fun. Yeah, I just noticed that,
Yeah.
and
It's nice to yeah, it's nice to share.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thanks.
thank you.
Mm, mm, yeah. This is so energetic. There's no need to say anything. There's no need to ask anything. There can be asking something, and there can be clarify things. It doesn't matter. It's everything. So there's that energetic sense of what's going on is that doesn't need anything. So there can be losing concepts without even knowing. There can be all those beliefs and there's falling apart. It can be suddenly clear or not. It doesn't matter. So this is so energetic. Those meetings are not about the content of being said. That can be clarify some things, but it doesn't need to. It's energetic, so it's going in. You don't even know how that energetic is. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Also, it's already. It's already, and that there's nowhere to go. So this is already everything. It's already complete. When you close the computer, it's closing. Is it? There's no need to be any different as what is happening. It's already complete. That's amazing. Thank you.